Industries that are hot, sectors set to outperform the market. That's what's here in Zacks Industry Rank Analysis. This is always a very interesting segment here on Zacks.com, and Charles Rotblatt, our senior market analyst, puts this all together for us each week where he takes a critical look with his critical analytical eye at different industries and sectors set to outperform, and this week is no exception because you're keying in on your radar on the biotech industry. And you tell me that over the near term, biotech is it's improving and the outlook is good.
It is. We've had some good numbers come out of a few companies within a sector, and it's interesting because last week we talked about it. The difference between positive and negative revisions was pretty much even, 101 positive revisions, 100 negative revisions. Now we've actually seen that split widen, so now we're seeing noticeably more positive revisions than negative revisions. That's helped the group Zacks rank. It's actually pushed the group higher on the Zacks industry rank list. It's now the 10th highest ranked list. And it's not just this group that's doing well. The medical sector itself is a top ranked sector. And a big reason why we're seeing the strong Zacks rank for biotech stocks and the broader medical sector is partially because these companies are not dependent on the economy. They're really not economically sensitive. It does affect them. Certainly when you see the credit markets dry up, it becomes harder for biotech companies to get financing. Certainly large cap pharmaceutical companies, anything relying on consumer spending hurts them. But by and large, relative to most other industries, these people are pretty, this group is pretty isolated in terms of the effects of the economy. Not that it's completely, not that it won't be affected at all, but relative to other groups, the amount of sensitivity is less.
So is it a products-driven group?
It is, particularly when you're looking at biotechs. It really comes down to what's in their pipeline, what drugs do they have out, and how are those drugs doing. So when you look at each individual company, it really depends on how they're doing specifically well. But when you look at the broad group and you're seeing positive numbers coming out of several companies, you're seeing analysts raise estimates on several companies, that creates a lot of positive momentum or certainly favorable sentiment towards that group. So in a declining market, it might be a case where the stocks fall less in the broader market. But certainly if we get any type of bear market rally, this is one group investors might want to take a look at because there's certainly a definite reason on the fundamental side for these stocks to trade higher, simply because either profit projections have been raised or whether there's going to be expected loss, the size of the loss has been narrowed.
So are you looking for many blockbuster products to come out of this group this year?
You know, it really varies. I think when you look at the group itself, as our analysts who cover the group directly, Grant Zhang and Jason Napadana have said, I think the big news is really going to be mergers. And certainly if you're one of the large cap pharmaceutical companies and you're struggling to rebuild your pipeline, these biotech companies are one place you can look, particularly if they have a drug in a phase 2 or more importantly in a phase 3 trials, and the trials seem like they're going well. Just so people understand, phase 2 is where they actually test the drug on humans to see whether or not it's effective. Phase 3 is where they actually test to make sure it's safe. So as scary as it sounds, there's a lot of people that actually engage in medical surveys to take something, willingly taking a drug to see whether or not it has a side effect or not. Not something I would do, but fortunately for all of us, there are people who are willing to take that chance.
Those are the trials that they refer to.
Exactly. And there's 3 trials. There's phase 1, which is really they're just trying to see if the drug just kind of works on cells, and I believe it's animal testing. Phase 2, they actually test the drug on humans to see whether or not fights disease. And then phase 3, obviously, is to see whether or not it's safe or if there's any side effects. So when you watch one of those commercials and they talk about your hair falling out, your nose turning sideways, and they...
I can identify with the hair falling out.
The other list of potential ailments that usually gets found in phase 3. But obviously with any new drug, once it's out on the market, there's always additional data and additional follow-up that's required.
Mine fell out and I didn't even have to go through it. So if we're going to see some decent amount of merger activity in this sector this year, might that have a way of spilling out into other sectors like healthcare or other parts of the medical group?
I don't think it will. I think where you look at the biotech, if you see positive drug news coming from them, it might actually help your large cap pharmas, particularly if there's a merger news or if they have license or royalty issues. I think for the broad healthcare group, it really won't have a massive effect. But I think for people looking for stock to trade, and particularly when you look at the biotechs, they do tend to be more volatile, which obviously a lot of people think of volatility negatively, but volatility also helps for the upside. So on any upward market move, when you look at what the Zacks rank is telling us, it's saying these type of stocks should actually move more than the rest of the market. So it's one opportunity for investors who are looking, how can I make money in the upside? This is one thing where people, particularly traders or investors who want to be more aggressive, can look at.
All right. Well, Charles does a good job in this week's report on outlining some of the companies within the sector that he is actually keying in on here that have some positive news out on them and positive rankings as well. I strongly suggest you go to Zacks.com, especially if you are accessing this video outside of Zacks.com. Search for the headline that is under the Industry Rank Analysis banner. Click on it. It'll take you right to it, and you can read all about these stocks firsthand. With Charles Rotblatt, I'm Terry Ruffalo.